Finally getting his turn with the Tuneup Treatment, this iconic ninja type is known not just by newcomers alike, but also veterans who've been following the series for a long time. It is NIN00 Nin-Ninja, REGRADED. With a kit of Tornado, Double Sword, Biped Legs, and the leg ability of Mirage, which grants the Conceal effect to self when charging Metaphors. Now, as a model that's very iconic and very well known, Nin-Ninja actually has been in the game for a very long time, stemming all the way back from the days of Medarot 1, where the series had its very humble beginnings. So Nin-Ninja knows the game, he knows the song and dance, and he's always maintained that level of all-roundedness and balance that makes him a very well-rounded partner and openly welcome partner, not just to the rookie, but also to the veteran. Tornado on the head part is his only shooting skill that, upon attacking the target, will sweep them up in a gust of air. This gust of air will also, for a short time, not only stop them in their tracks, and also guarantee every hit lands and is a crit, but also will temporarily change their leg type to flight for the duration they are stopped cold. Now, this also means that if anyone on the team is packing anti-air, this includes Shafu, Goff Bullets, 13, or anyone else similar, can most certainly capitalize on this weakness and make it a very mean 1-2 turn combo and utterly decimate even the most competitively viable of teams as quickly as you can say, get swept. Right and left arm of sword are conventional melee skills you can generally never ever go wrong with using for their fantastic balance and stats across the board. Good power, good heat cool, moderately good armor and success. These are very beginner-friendly parts and even competitive-friendly parts too that you can fit pretty much anywhere very flexibly and expect very consistent performance from. Biped Legs means that Nin-Ninja will have a very good coverage across all terrains as expected of a ninja type, and as expected of Biped Legs to have the best and most versatile and all-rounded terrain-to-leg match ratio. And Mirage also guarantees that even if he's not doing anything on his turn, he'll be able to keep his damage as minimum or as low as possible. As to explain Conceal briefly, it will boost your evade by about 50%, meaning you will be taking considerably less damage when you dodge or graze the attack, but if for the hit that does somehow land on him, he will be controlling all damage to the part tanking the blow and negate any AoE damage parts that are attacking him. This includes Hammer, or Gatling, or Meteor, or anything similar that's an AoE. He will be controlling this damage and keeping it as low as possible, and maintaining a form of damage control while he's on the field. Now when it comes to his tune-ups, Nin-Ninja basically takes everything that already made him a very beginner-friendly model, and makes him even more beginner-friendly, and even to the veteran, a very usable and flexible model. With his head, he has access to plus 100 to success, plus 50 to cool, and Symptom Plus, which extends the duration of Tornado. Now, it is worth noting that compared to other paralyzed ailments such as Freeze, Shock, Hyper Freeze, Thundershot, and so on, Tornado has the lowest duration, meaning if you were to sweep someone in the Tornado and leave them alone, you would probably have just barely a turn at best before it wears off and expires, and they can continue moving as normal, compared to Shock or Freeze, which may give you maybe a turn and a half or 2 turns, depending on how quick you are. That extra duration only is very simple and very obvious in terms of how you can use it, as it means it not only will buy you those extra few seconds more on top of what you can do, but it also gives whoever is packing anti-air, if you choose to pack that on your team, all the more time to prep and be comfortable using the skill without having to bum rush to the center line to use it and hope and pray that you end up hitting them. The bonus to success honestly is nice to have too, as it means he will have a higher likelihood of landing the hit without them dodging or grazing the gust of wind and getting swept in it. The 50 to cool you really honestly won't notice if I'm being completely honest, so I would honestly kind of forget that bonus and just leave it alone. The right arm has access to plus 100 to power, plus 100 to armor, plus 200 to power, and Damage Plus gets an additional 30% damage bonus when triggering Pierce damage. Now that Damage Plus alone is a very obvious choice you want to shoot with, as it means upon breaking apart upon your strike, you will get a 30% damage bonus to your turn, dealing even more damage on top of that just for achieving the milestone of breaking apart. Now, I did mention the plus 100 to armor here as a secondary bonus. It's not bad to have, it definitely is nice to have because it will guarantee a little higher of a survival rate, but you can go between that and power and not really see too much of a difference because he already has a pretty solid base power across the board with both his arms, and an extra 200 will be nice for sure, but if you go between that and survivability, it's honestly going to be your call in the end. His left arm has access to plus 100 to power, plus 50 to cool, and also has the same damage plus bonus that his right arm gets, which again makes it a very obvious choice that you absolutely have to go for that damage bonus first, because upon breaking parts you will be dealing more damage as a reward on top of that, because who doesn't love more damage when breaking parts? Again, plus 50 to cool, much like his head, you really honestly won't see that or notice it at all, so it's something you can honestly just leave alone and forget. The plus 100 to power will, that being said, is the next obvious best choice to go with to utilize the remainder of your points on when using TP to help keep him on top of his game. His legs have access to plus 200 to armor, plus 100 to evade, plus 50 to mobility. His Mirage leg ability gets an additional 5 more uses, and he has the opportunity to get S rank on prairie terrain. Armor is generally something you really can't ever go wrong with using, so if you choose to go with that, absolutely go for it, more power to you. But given that he's a very shifty design by default and focuses more on agility, you really want to focus a lot on his ability to dodge or graze attacks. That means that his leg ability of Mirage, getting those 5 extra uses for conceal, and stacking evade of plus 100 on top of that are only the very obvious choices to go with here, to guarantee that even if he does end up tanking a blow, grazing it will keep his damage as low as possible, and he can keep doing that more and more often, as long as he has someone essentially just to cover for him. S rank on prairie terrain isn't bad to have, you can always go for it if you want, but that extra 10% you really won't see too much of a difference of while he's on the field, because on prairie, biped legs already get A rank anyway, so it's not really going to be a make or break moment. And a plus 50 to mobility, it's nice to have, I mean, if you want to go for it, but that extra plus 50 you really won't notice compared to plus 100 to evade or even to Mirage or armor. So in this case, it would be a bonus that you really don't want to focus on too heavily. Now, taking into account the original, when I first graded Nin-Ninja, for his incredible balance across the board, I did rate him very highly at a 7 out of 10 for his pure and his mixed parts scores, because he could fit a lot of roles by himself or his mixed parts very easily and with very good flexibility. But taking into account his new tune-up bonuses that he has an opportunity to earn, I very easily have to main that balance rank at a pure set score and a mixed parts score at an 8.5 out of 10. He already is well-balanced and well-rounded, very versatile for pretty much wherever you choose to use him, and between stalling foes with Tornado or attacking them with conventional sword skills, Nin-Ninja is a model that anyone can use and generally expect a very consistent and well-rounded performance from.